evening, Rebel. I am your host, Superfed TV, and we are back with week one action. Joining me is my new regular co-host, Michaels. Michaels, how you doing?
Hi. Hi, Guy.
Hi.
How's it going?
Day
Hi.
before holiday.
This is fun.
Not at all busy or crazy.
God, I love Thanksgiving. It's like Christmas without all the bullshit.
See, that's one way. The other way is
And
the
I'm into
opposite,
that.
and it's Christmas without the gifts.
Yeah, gifts are bullshit. I just want food and booze.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a simple
That's fair.
man for a simpler America.
Fair enough. Well, let's go ahead and jump on into the exciting REL Div 3 action. I did not make hype intro videos yet, but I'm still thinking about it. We'll see what kind of weekend I have. Let us begin looking at the schedule for week one. And hey, we've got a div that hasn't been rolled over yet, and there's a reason for that. So the very first matchup here, Dafo has not accepted his ticket. He is, as far as I know, MIA and has not responded to all attempts for contact. So Div 3, here's your update. His spot is open. If he returns and has good reasons, and get his spot filled. If he does not return and another coach that can meet the requirements of Div 3 shows up and wants to join in. So, for example, you would not be getting a... Well, actually, you could. You could get somebody like... oh, God. What was the Chaos coach from Div 1 that disappeared for a couple seasons after his team got beat up? Oh, God. All right. I'm blanking.
Some guy.
The Wire was the team theme. New Day Co-op. Kool-Aid. If Kool-Aid was to come back with New Day Co-op in somewhat crippled state, his Chaos team could fill. But that's the kind of stuff that we'd be looking for, is a team that could fit in with the Division 3. So, anyway, from this point forward, though, if you're scheduled against Dafo's team, you are still required to make the Reddit post in case he shows up. I will formally announce if he's done. We're not there yet. So anyway, this will be a bye win for Rage Dwarf. Your admin has spoken.
God damn it, Dafo.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully
Damn
he shows up. So the first game that actually was played, we've got Ghoulbusters versus One Cheese. Did you catch this one?
Let me look. Ghoulbusters are the humans, right?
Skaven. A cheese team that is
I
Skaven.
caught a bit of it. I didn't catch enough of it to say anything super insightful.
I can say that the humans played the bash game against the Agi team. 49 blocks, succeeded. 6 removals, though, isn't that great considering it's an AV7 team and you're getting that many blocks. The Skaven, on the other hand, went the Khaleesi Maya route of 1 blitz and no other blocks per turn. Khaleesi Maya doesn't actually play that way anymore. He used to. But low block game from the Skaven. They did get 3 removals from those 16 blocks, so they definitely had the better end of the armor broken dice. 6 breaks to 11. But I would say that the 2-2 draw was fitting in that the Skaven played well, the humans played well. The humans didn't get the removal results, but they did control the ball a bit more and the pace of the game, whereas the Skaven were, Skaven. They reacted, they scored, they drew.
Did the guard on the catchers matter? Because I think we talked about this last
I
time.
would say that it helped. It didn't hurt, that's for sure. That's how they got the significant advantage in blocks. That's what guard allows you to do, is get extra blocks and prevent your opponent from getting so many blocks. So in that sense, I would say, yes, it worked.
I just remember I didn't like it, but I was waiting to be proved wrong. And if I was, that's fine.
I don't think it came
That's
across
fine.
in the
I'm
end
okay with
result
it.
because it's still a 2-2 draw. But
Right.
Speaking of being wrong, we had Eisenbike versus Rouge's Gallery, and this one was a thumping. Eisenbike streamed this one. I did catch this one as well.
I caught this one, and he was very, very not happy.
Yeah,
And
it was a tilting game, and reasonably so. If you look at the equal number of blocks there, 43 to 44, couldn't have been a more equal result. However, the Rouge's Gallery got twice the armor breaks, and worse than that, they didn't get a single KO. They just got 2 kills and 6 injuries on 16 breaks.
That was the Yeti dead turn 1,
yes,
right?
it was. Yes, it was.
Ugh, yeah. Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah,
Look at that team value now.
this Norse team is looking a little worse for wear, and that sucks because had this happened a week before the season started, it might have changed placements. But now he's going to be the downhill Norse team that's trying to rebuild and repair. Now, it's not to say it can't be done. We see Ornan do it all the time, but he's got his work cut out for him. And Eisenmike is a coach that's always capable of rebuilding a team or getting by with a rebuilding team.
We're 0-2 now on predictions. Not doing well. The next one, though,
yes,
called it.
Archangel's Will.
Nailed one.
Versus the Fruity Kisses. Lideus and his Palm Elf did some Palm Elf things. He did get a kill and a couple injuries, but he still got out-blocked by the Wood Elves. And Wood Elves that are able to out-block you do tend to get away with the wins in the game. So yeah, notable the injury there on the War Dancer is just a miss next game. But that is a hell of a War Dancer to be missing with palm jump up.
Oh yeah, that's brutal.
So even though Fruity Kisses didn't get the win, their next Archangel's Will's next week's opponent. Be gracious for that. We'll have to see who that is. Gotta Catch 'Em All took the 2-0 win over Cheese Tactics Mark II. Apparently, Cheese
caught that one too.
Yeah, why don't you take us through this one?
So basically, let's see. Steak Mittens, right? That's the Nurgle coach. Sat there in utter amazement as every armor roll that he did was a break and usually a removal. And Cheese could not roll a 2 to save his life. Basically, everything was a failure.
Good times.
And that was the whole game. So it wasn't even a tale of two halves. It was basically, I've broken all your orcs. We're done.
Huh.
And that was the game.
Good
so
times.
Hats off to Steak Mittens for at least making it somewhat enthusiastic, even though it was a horribly one-sided game that was pretty much over by turn 6.
On anything that I would care about?
I don't think so. Granted, it's been a week since I watched it, but I think we'll have to look at the team.
We already gave Cheese more time than he has earned on that one. Charleston's Chiefs versus Ace Trucking Company, 1-1 draw. The Lizards versus the Chorf matchup, which is an interesting matchup. A ton of blocks, actually, 54-60. Chorf surprising no one. They're getting the better removals off those two, but it's still an interesting close match, and it did end, in fact, in a 1-1 draw. I would have expected Ace Trucking Company to come away a little stronger, especially with the 62% ball possession to 18. But we'll see over time how the Ace Trucking Company handles this one in this div. Finally, we have Fogmire Finbeast getting a loss here against the Nurgle FTD. Sauce coming up big. This one I got right.
I don't think I did.
You were back in the
Lizards
the other way. You expected Sauce to sauce it, and he did not sauce it.
Everybody gets one, right?
It's early still. I can't jinx him if he isn't even in the running. So he's got to get in the running before I can jinx him. Plus, if you look at the removals, 7 removals, that's plenty against Lizards. I think really all you need is 4 removals.
Yeah, that'll do.
Lizards will be in a very rough spot.
Nothing permanent.
Nothing permanent. So let's go ahead and peek over at the leaderboard and see where things are at. If there's any big surprises.
Sure.
Obviously, the one that comes to mind is Sauce being atop the leaderboard currently. Steak Mittens, though, I mean, double Nurgle, Chorf, and Wood Elf. Those are 4 of the strongest teams in the game. Well, 3 of the 4. But, yeah, those races are definitely contenders. Surprises on the...
I am so just this Eisenmike placement is so confusing to me. I'm so baffled right now to see him in last place with a completely broken team day one.
That is probably the biggest news of the division.
And it's a long fucking season too, so he better
battered.
start.
He's actually considering keeping a strength busted Ulf Warner. So
buy some weed or something. I mean, do something to cheer yourself up because you got a long way to
Yeah.
go.
A side note, he didn't ask me to say this, but I'm going to say this. If you're watching Eyes and Mike's games, don't cheer for the other guy and his channel and his chat. It tilts him, and we don't want to tilt our coaches.
It's
Yes,
poor taste.
yes. So let's go ahead and move on. Oh, wait, no, actually, we're not done. We're not done with Div 3. We've got
Yeah. Archangels will with a strong lead. What, 2 touchdown differential?
yep.
Positive.
We want to pick
Very
on 2
nice.
teams, so I'll let you go ahead and pick the first team. Any team you would like to look at.
We want to
Well,
pick on
we'll
them.
talk about.
Okay. I will go. So here's the thing I don't get that I've always wondered: is Rouge's Gallery, is that like a MMO joke? Because when you play MMOs, people always misspell rogue, and it's Rogue's Gallery.
This is by hook or by
and
crook.
It's Rouge.
As the team motto. I have no idea.
Hmm.
I assume it's a reference to something.
Anyway. Yeah.
We'll have to ask Mr. J.
I have no idea. We can look at that one though.
A Batman villain.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
There we go.
I got to get up on my pop culture.
I mean, I do recognize some of these people. Yes, Grundy, Batzaro, Joker. Yeah, these are Batman
Sure.
villains. There we go.
Wouldn't it still be Rogue though? Then it would still be Rogue, wouldn't it? It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's just something that confuses
So we've talked
me,
about.
so
I
just wanted to know
I
if
think
anybody
you
else
called
knew.
out actually last week in the pre-cap. He's got 4 rerolls, and he's still rocking 4 rerolls. So he heard what you had to say and said, "No, I'm good."
Fuck you. You don't know.
All these. Yeah, I guess. I mean, these that niggled turtle always been there. We got an Agi bust, which is not newsworthy on this one Chorf. Yeah,
Grodd. Yeah. Meh.
but it does mean he's gone for a week, and that is a hell of a Chorf to be missing with Almighty Blow, Guard, and Stand Firm. So that is a benefit to whoever's up against his team. In fact, he will even be getting a loner Hobgoblin. So and no kickers too.
Two loners if he doesn't buy a new one.
Yeah, it's not the best shape this team's been. However, they are still looking really, really good. It's just they are picking up these, random permanent injuries.
Yeah, pretty beat up. Poor turtle. It's so great to see them with horns. Every week I'm going to be like, "Oh my god, he has horns."
Yep. Where do you want to see this team develop in the future?
Gosh, they look like they're doing everything right. I almost want to say, if you get to a point, replace Hush.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
AV8 sucks.
The Bull Centaur,
especially if you don't get a double for dodge. Like if you don't get that, just get him out of there.
Is dodge what he needs for his next level?
Well, it's just something to protect him because he's AV8 already, so it's just another protective skill that makes you think, okay, he'll probably last a little longer than just AV8.
See, I would rather him get tackle and just go for it, And he'll be the active safety, and if you want to risk a cage dive, a lot of people poo-poo an Agi 4 cage dive, but it's actually pretty solid. And
yeah,
it's kind of something that's missing from the Chorf team is being able to actually threaten the ball or the dive. As opposed to just kind of muscling them and controlling them. And so you've got a piece now that you don't really care about. And he's got strip ball if you give him tackle as well. Being able to dive would be interesting.
The other thing is dodge pairs with break tackle.
True.
Very nice.
Trouble Scrabble pointing that out.
So there's that. There's a bit of
you
synergy
and
there.
Agree.
We pretty much always agree. Other than that, I mean, everything looks fine. He's got guard across the board, 3 claw pieces. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
He just needs a bench. He needs a bench of dudes so that he can take a couple gob hits, and he has, foulers that are disposable.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And he was tested this week with Eyes and Mike, but in reality, kind of bulldozed them. So he's got a history of doing that too with this team. It's understandable why.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a look at I guess we can damage assess. We can look at Eyes and Mike. We'll cover the other end of that comping.
That's cold. You know what? The only comment I made on this match was you removed everyone but Sierra Nevada, which is like the only cold one that's not great out of all of these.
And that is a decent lineman. In fact, if he gets sure hands, I think that would be an awesome primary ball carrier in recovery.
Yeah.
Get that lineman ball carrier in, which I think Ornan would absolutely respect. So the state of the team right now is one Berserker. Well, for the next game would be one Berserker, one runner, one Ulfhorner, and 4 linemen. So 7-man team with loners and a ton of inducements.
At least they all have block.
Well, you get decent inducement options with Norse. So the next game isn't really going to be the worst one. What's more concerning is the week after, and that's where he's going to have to make some decisions. First off, this runner, he's now niggled, but Blodge, Mighty Blow, and Guard as a runner and a movement up. So that's 2 doubles and a stat. Obviously, you're going to keep him. I think that's a super valuable piece. The Berserker, which I think is also a nickel. Nope, just missed next game. Okay.
Victory,
yeah,
missed next game. Yeah.
The Ulfhorner, but the strength bust.
Ugh.
That I think is the only one that you really fire here.
But do you keep him long enough to rebuild some of the other pieces?
What does he really have to rebuild, right?
Last?
Because I mean, the Agi busted lineman with tackles fine. I think the Berserker is 100% fine. He's just MNG. And the Niggle is still very, very usable. So the only thing that you really have to rebuild and rebuy is either a bench or your Yeti. And I think the Yeti comes first, but
right.
I don't know.
No, I think it does. And he's got the money for it.
Yeah, I would get the Yeti first, and then for maybe one game play with the Ulfhorner, but it is bloaty.
So you're talking 2 to 3 games with loners and an 11-man roster.
Well, you can induce
on
Norse. You can induce linemen.
It's still you could, yeah, you could get.
And even just with 1 star player,
star player,
yeah, 1 star player. I mean, you get Cheney. Ain't nothing wrong with Cheney.
Can't go wrong with
Cheney.
No, that's a game winner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to depend on your opponents and your schedule, but I think it's not as bad as it sounds. When you talk about 1,000 TV Norse going into week 2. It's not great. That was a good
bad.
Yeti.
It was bad when it happened.
It was a really good Yeti.
It was a good Yeti.
But it's not the end of the world. Lack of palm, not a good thing, says Ornan, who my season in Div 1 did not have any Mighty Blow at the start of the season. But yes, I agree. I think Norse with palm is wise, especially with the jump up built in on the Berserkers. Try and get those removals going. Like I said, it's salvageable.
Did I tell you about the most terrifying Norse team I ever
Who's
played?
that?
It was this dude in this other league, but like everyone that he had that was a lineman, they only got dirty player. So he had like 8 dirty players. And it was glorious and terrifying.
Sends a message for sure.
If I ever played Norse, that's what I would do.
All right. Well, that I think will cover the recaps, and then let's go ahead and take a look at week 2 and make our predictions here. So Cheese against Daffo, it's a tough call, but I do think that in the end, Cheese will get the win.
Daffo?
Yeah, close.
Or Cheese.
I mean, if Daffo shows up,
I didn't think of that.
He'll actually probably just obliterate the elves and make it close. Ace Trucking Company versus Fruity Kisses. This one's a fun one because this has happened before. This is a rematch. And it was the match that actually Lideus thought was very humorous because I cast it, and he enjoyed every single time I said I don't understand what he's doing. So I still don't understand what Lideus is doing seasons later. I would likely suspect that what he's doing is going to have less say in the match of who wins or not compared to what Ace Trucking Company decides to do. I think the driver's seat is in Quix's control, but if Quix plays the 2-1 grind solid, I think he will be able to take the win. If the scoreline is anything other than 2-1, I fully expect Ladeus got the win, or at least the draw.
I'm gonna go with tie. I think tie.
You feel the tie there? 2-2 or 1-1?
1-1.
1-1.
1-1 tie.
Oof. I don't know. That's expecting Ladeus's game plan to go very awry.
I'm expecting Ladeus receives and scores turn 6 or 7, and
that is way too late.
Gets obliterated the next half, and Ace Trucking Company just waltzes it in.
If
turn
Ladeus
16.
scores turn 6 or later, I will be shocked. Moving on, we've got Nurgle FTDs versus Rouge's Gallery, and this one's going to be fun. Claw on claw. We know that Sauce loves playing against Chorfs. That just want to give him big hugs.
Was that sarcasm?
A little bit.
I feel like that was maybe sarcasm.
Let me take a look at Sauce's team and just see what the strength is. He's at 2,000 TV, so I suspect he's full strength. He is full strength, and Rouge's Gallery is not. So I think that does give him the edge, because Chorfs with inducements aren't really that special. He could get some bribes, though, and if he wants to go for maximum salt against High Lord Salt, bribes would be the way to go.
Right. I see what you did there. I think Sauce is going to win. I think he's got this.
I do, too. I think we're both going to back Sauce this week.
Yep.
Fogmire Finbeast versus One Cheese. So now it's Lizard versus Skaven. This is always an interesting matchup.
It's a fucked up week.
Your turn to call this one.
Cheese. One cheese.
Both these teams, I think, drew this week too, so it's a kind of a rebound week. Nope, actually, Fogmire Finbeast lost, so it would be yeah, okay.
Yeah, one cheese. Rat Burglar Nami the second gonna take it home. So fully expecting a 2-1, maybe even a 3-1.
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna say that the Lizards keep control of the ball and the pitch, and Rats make a couple snakes. Charleston Chiefs versus Ragedorf.
Ragedorf.
I agree with you. I think Ragedorf is going to have this one. Not because of anything particular about the Charlestown Chiefs. I just don't dig Lizards versus Dwarves at this TV range. I think Ragedorf has the edge here because of the amount of guard that they're at.
And the strength ups, and
just feel
that's going to make it hard to knock them down.
Feel like that is the plan. Gotta catch them all versus Ghoulbusters. How do we feel about Nurgle
what do you think?
Versus this human team?
I don't see Steak Mittens getting that lucky 2 games in a row. Not to say that he didn't play well, because he did, but he did kind of get handed that game last week. So I want to go with Ghoulbusters, but I kind of feel like another 1-1 tie coming on, because a lot of the passing game is going to be shut down.
I'll gladly let you have either. I'll give you both. I'll give you the tie and the human win. I'm that confident in Steak Mittens in this one. I think humans play style is a lot like Cheese's play style with his orcs, and that he likes to rely on some less than quality dice, and humans need to make those less than quality dice in order to win. And Steak Mittens is gonna give him enough rope to hang himself and just sit back and enjoy. So I'm taking the win there for sure on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on, we've got that is last one.
Wood Elves done.
Wood Elves versus the Great Cold Ones. This is always an interesting matchup. I think the Norse are actually a natural predator to Wood Elves. Everybody always says the AB7 matchup can go both ways, and that's true. However, you can see the Norse just get away with more stuff against Wood Elves, and they're good at setting the pace of the game. Wood Elves are not good at responding to someone else setting the pace of the game. They always want to be in control of that. So the other thing, though, that I think will differentiate this, remember, Archangel's Will is missing their Palm Dancer, but there is no Sure Hands.
But there's no Sure Hands.
Let's see what the other Dancer has, because that could be...
Strip Ball, Stripper. Tackle, Mighty Blow.
Okay, that's not War Dancer to be mocked. So as long as this Dancer can roll 3+, yeah, that'll be a very tough game for Ice and Mike. And beyond that, I think Archangel is a very strong coach too. So I think this will be a fun one to watch. But unless Ice and Mike just goes off with removals on his few players that he does have, I think that you're right that Wood Elves take this one. Cool. All right, well that is going to do it for Div 3. Go ahead and jump on over to Div 2 and take a look at last week's games. First up, we got Lords of Decay versus the Battle Brothers. Now, you saw this one.
Called it.
You did call it. Thank you so much there for this subscription. So much. Cervellum. So we've...
Thanks, man.
What's that?
Oh, I was saying thank you to the guy.
So go ahead and take us through this victory for the Battle Brothers.
So I only got the first half, but basically the Battle Brothers pummeled Callisti into the pitch. Had him down to like, I think 4 or 5 players, and he was still fouling. just controlled the entire thing. And that was the first half, and then I had to take off after that. But it went about how I expected, with Callisti just getting the beat down. And then I'm guessing what he did was one turn it in, and then the beat down continued.
Yeah.
Could be wrong because I missed that, second half. But
very cool.
But it went about how I thought it would.
Makes sense. Callisti's been on a bit of a slide lately. If you've been watching him since the OI, he's been bemoaning his just endless streak of bad luck when it comes to the death of players and this dead lineman. While I'm sure every other coach out there would be like, it's a dead line rat. Callisti is deeply bothered by it. So. Yep. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the Culinary Delights versus Rats Off to You. A 2-1 win for the Culinary Delights. I don't think either of us saw this one coming.
No, we're both wrong here, I believe.
I was really backing Golgothan to win. And something just doesn't feel right in the sense that there was only 46 blocks in this entire game. But that's a huge swing of removals in favor of Culinary Delights. So this Chaos team surprising everyone with their big jump up to Div 2 and a big win from a former Div 1 team. That's all I got to say about that. Fell with Codadal versus Murderers Row. I watched this one. Did you catch this one?
Another surprise.
This was a surprise.
Yeah.
This one was rough, and I'll tell you why. So the High Elves scored right away on turn 1. They did the 1-turn play, and the Necro team right back at them. The Strength 5 catcher, the Elf catcher that's Strength 5, based the scary removal white for the Necro team. And the Necro just decided, end of turn, I'm going to throw some red dice, double POW, as removal, game, set, match. The next turn, same white, blitz, Kaz, double POW, removal.
Oh, geez.
And it kind of snowballed a little bit from there. There was 2 dead, but the Apo saved one of them. It was, in fact, a big death, level 6 blitzer. So that's a bummer. And these High Elves now are going to be benchless going into the next week. I believe they're playing Nurgle, so it'll be a fun one. But yeah, I was surprised at this one. The ball possession, 0% for the High Elves. They were pretty much running for their lives the entire game. So yeah, that happened. Big win for Doc M and Murder Show.
That's pretty gross.
Rottingham Rockers 1-1 against the Scooby in the game.
Did watch that one. Did you catch that one?
Tell me about your boy.
basically, the plan was fine. The execution was a little poor. He did a couple moves that I thought were a little suspect, but overall, it came down to I can't roll a 2+ to save my fucking life. Basically, everything failed right when he needed it to not fail, and most of the things that failed were a 2 or a 3. And that was game. So it was pretty ugly in the second half, kind of toward the end, where it could have easily scored, got shut down by ones.
Rough. Very rough. Yep. All right. Fear and Bloating got a 1-1 draw against We Chillin'. And like another fairly balanced match. 0 removals for the Dark Elves on 33 blocks feels pretty bad. They only got 4 armor breaks as well, so I'd say that Nurgle got away with one there. 47 blocks getting 3 removals is also not terrible. So I think both teams are just kind of disappointing with the removal dice. But Dark Elves don't need the removals to get the win. They certainly don't need it to get the draw.
No.
So I would say that this is probably a favorable matchup. 75% ball position for the Nurgle. A little bit interesting there. Can we do it? Yes, we can. At the 1-0 win.
Now that Frozen
we
Dead
predicted
North.
this one.
We did.
McMackey is a stellar coach as well, so it's nothing to be ashamed at there. Frozen Dead North. I believe that's D Sharp's team. Who I think so. Yeah. But yeah.
Just look at that sustain section for Frozen Dead North. Just eating the punches.
Might have a little bit of a kink we've discovered. Giving up 59 blocks.
There's nothing wrong. I don't judge.
Yeah. Don't judge.
Yes. I did catch a little bit of the last half of that game, and it looked kind of like a clusterfuck, and so I stopped watching.
That's fair. You gotta be in the right state of mind for watching clusterfucks.
Like, this is a mess. I'm out.
Yeah, there's
you people don't know what you're doing
today that I think fits that. Fallen Wonders lost 1-3 against the Rebellious Scions.
Huge shot.
Scallions taking away the win against the Amazons.
Scallions are delicious. I watched this one too, and a lot of suspect moves from the Fallen Wonders. A lot of moves I didn't care for.
They jumped up a lot of divisions. I'm curious to see how they hang with some of the other names. If they I don't know. That's coded Superfed for saying I didn't build this one. Or maybe I did. I don't remember, but I don't know. I'm curious to see if they can hang. I mean, this is the highest the Amazons have ever been placed in the Rebel. If they do get blown out consistently all season, are bad. But I think that they have all the tools. It's just a matter of execution at this point. The team itself, I think, is worthy. And I just haven't seen enough of the coach fall to really say for sure if this is where he belongs. But he's got plenty of opportunity to prove himself here with some really big names. If he takes on a McMackey, and I think Zons versus Kemri is a fun matchup because it's not like Kemri can stack tackle. I think that would be a very interesting, telling way of Fallen's assessment or how to assess Fallen as a coach. Be interesting.
And if he does poorly, it's clearly Metal's fault. Is that correct?
I didn't say it. You did. I honestly think I might have been, because I did a first pass. This season with building divs was actually backwards. And a lot of people can blame me for most of it. Because I did a first pass through of all the returning teams and just said they would probably fit around here and here and here to try and make it easier for Heronsword and Metal. Well, it turns out not including all the minors teams made it actually harder for them, and they just kind of redid everything I did. But it'll not happen that way again next season. Put it that way. I made their lives harder, and I was trying to make it easier. Best intention.
Well.
So let's take a look at the leaderboard. Where we are at, we've got Rebellious Scions, Battle Brothers, and Culinary Delights. All three teams that I did not expect to be at the top of the leaderboard at the end of week one. Doc M and McMackey, those are not surprises. I guess Doc M, we expected the Elves to win, but Doc M's a solid coach, and I would say that that's just a Necro team bound for the Necro div. up
Right.
in REL 1 next season. Travel Scrabble and D Sharp might have another season to cook. But we'll see. It's early. It's still early. For all you know, you could be getting three more Necro up there with you, and all three of them could get promoted.
It'll be just Necro.
7 Necro Div 1.
And Arch. Necro and Arch.
At least until some of the other coaches can build up there. Yeah. On the bottom side, we've got Fall and Azans. We talked about them just now. Lords of Decay with their space in front of their name disgust me. Ugh.
Love it.
That's disgusting. You love that he's at the bottom.
What I
understand and respect that. High Elves are a little bit surprising, but again, this team is just the team that only apparently rolls really good at level up screen and not the game. I've heard him say that before. And yeah, that's about it for that. Let's take on our two teams. Who would you like to peek at?
We could look at Felwas Cotadol.
They went from 2200 TV,
right,
1640 TV. That's a 600 TV
jump.
Swing.
Yeah, it's
Dead
not
Blitzer. It's level 6.
We get minus Agi and miss next game.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Perfect.
He'll be fine.
And what's this other? Brel Cerillas? I hate how you have to click in to see the things.
I think that's dumb. The AV bust on alignment, I think, is the only other perm, which is fine. I think, it's more important for this team with the natural one-turner to have a bench than it is to have AV8 linemen. So I think you keep that guy, and I think you just try and save up. Because he's going to actually get decent. What's funny is with all these missing next games, he's actually going to get a decent chance at getting some gold in the next match without spiraling expenses. So he could theoretically replace that blitzer for week 3 if he gets lucky. If he gets unlucky, then he probably might have to buy a lineman, because as soon as his TV bounces back up to 2,000, it's going to be hard to save up.
Yeah, I think you keep that guy. I mean, there's no reason not to. And it's not like he's not dealing with AV7 guys anyway. From what I can tell, that's about half his fucking
The downside
team.
is that lineman's sole job is to be on the line of scrimmage. And if he's getting removed on turn 1, then he's not really doing his job. But hopefully he can survive 1 or 2 more hits. The rest of the team, though, I don't know. Where'd you go with any of this? It looks like he opted to go the more expensive route and got a second thrower instead of a third lineman. I feel like that's fine because he does have an armor bust on his other one.
No. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Having 2 throwers is great because you can groom one of them while the other one you're just getting ready to shut down or get rid of or whatever. I like to run 2 all the time. I think 4 rerolls is good. For some reason, high elves just fucking eat rerolls. I don't know why. The other elf team.
That was actually someone, I think Ornan last season gave him that advice. And he listened. Not often that you see someone listen to advice. But Ornan was calling out the fact that he's got 2 leap players. And when you're doing leap plays, you do actually need more rerolls. And the natural one-turner only has a reroll in the dodge. It doesn't have sure feet. So that's another thing that's just going to always eat a reroll. So if you're leaving 1 reroll for turn 8 every single drive, it makes sense to have 3 rerolls for the rest of your drive.
Yeah, and he's a long way from getting sure feet, man.
What? That's only 90.
He's got a little ways to go.
SPP, 91 SPP. So 91 divided by 3, that's going to be 30 touchdowns roughly. 31 touchdowns.
Yeah, like next game, it's fine.
31, we'll say divided by 13. He could do, if he gets 2 to 3 touchdowns a game, he could get it this season. Maybe 3 touchdowns a game.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about that player, though, is that's all he's going to ever do. He's only ever going to be used for getting touchdowns. So,
ideally, long term, he's only ever out for that 1 turn.
Yeah.
And that's it, and you bench him the rest of the time.
You bring him out on offense. I think he's still a good weapon, as long as you can protect him.
He's a good target. Yeah, I'd like to see some more catchers. You get 4, right? You can have 4
They're
on high
expensive
elves.
though.
Yeah, so I mean, well, sure, but a third one wouldn't hurt.
He was at 2200 SPP before this last match, so it's hard to justify another catcher over just bench.
Well, sure, but I mean, so you buy your other blitzer, right? That puts you back at 12. Eventually, you replace, hopefully, Inaruk with a catcher. And then you have 3, and you have 3 movement 8, strength 3 on the pitch. One of them strength 5. So, and I like that better than fielding the one-turner. And you still have a movement 8 on the pitch as well as your strength 5 guy for a potential scoring threat, defensive touchdown.
I get what you're going.
I don't know.
13-man team, 2400 TV.
Oh, 12-man.
Oh, you're talking about replacing Enderock, yeah.
Just 12.
I don't know if he's ever going to get the cash to do that, but maybe.
It's a long ways off.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, and then I will pick one. Let's take a look at Golgothan. What the hell happened to you, bro? Oh, that's right. He's got no development. This is the rebuilding season. He's got Gary the Friendly, which everyone, or Gary Friendly, Gary the Friendly.
Right.
Yeah, everyone should know him. 140 TV. He's more valuable than every other player on this team except for Merlin Black, third. Dr. Ian Black. Dr. Ian Black the third.
Not Gibbons.
Yeah, Gibbons is only 130K. Gibbons is cheaper than Gary Friendly.
Oh, you're right.
That's a steal.
And more useful.
That's a steal at 130K TV. You know 130K gets me? 130K gets me a block blitzer. That's it.
That's amazing.
That's it. I think I'd rather have Gibbons than a block blitzer, but Gavin or...
Are you talking
Gavin
Kislev?
Definitely not OP. Yes, I was talking Kislev.
Or Slan, I mean. You're talking Slan?
Don't slander me.
I don't know how you say it. I don't know how you pronounce
I
it.
don't know. I think it's Slon. Like I mowed my Slon.
Yes. Perfect. Rub my Slon.
We've got some development going on with these Storm Vermin, but let's take a look at what happened to this one. Oh, just M&G. He's fine. He's fine.
Yep. Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
I don't like I like the horns. I don't like it where it's at, I guess, on that dude.
What's wrong with having your raccoon be horny?
Well, I guess maybe if you dropped the tackle and had strip ball, or I don't know. I just am not as big a fan of it.
But do you see how much dodge is in this division?
That combination. It's just this weird combination to me, like horns, wrestle, 2 heads.
He's
okay,
for diving
cool,
cages,
right? Or leap, right? Which is why you'd want the 2 heads and not the tackle. Maybe tackle is the 4th one, but as opposed to like wrestle, strip ball. 2
I don't know how
heads,
much cage diving
that's more normal to me.
When I do cage diving, if I make the dodge, I damn well better get the tackle. That's how I feel. I did the hard part. I damn well better get rewarded for it with the knockdown. Because if you do a cage dive
and I'm not even
double
saying
pushes, you feel bad.
Sure. I don't even know if it's bad. I just know that I'm used to seeing, 2 heads wrestle.
Oh, you're absolutely right. No, and if we were looking at Lumi's team, it would be 2 heads. Most rat coaches I know prefer 2 heads over horns every time on their gutters.
For the
well,
cage
not just
dive.
that, it's just got infinitely more utility. Dodge is the first skill that gutters get because they do a lot of dodging. If you have 2 heads and you're up against a Camry team that has 4 Tomb Guardians all spread out, normally you have to make 3+ dodges to get through. But if you only have to make 3 2+ dodges to get through, you're going to take the 3+ or the 3 dodges any day of the week. So,
it's just confusing to me, and I've had enough of Golgothan's mind games.
Sace, thanks so much for the raid. Welcome everybody that's coming over from Sace's channel. We're just looking at Golgothan's team and discussing the decision to go with horns over 2 heads. But that's all I got for this team, actually. So we can go ahead and move on and take a look at our predictions for Week 2. Week 2 is underway. However, no matches are played yet. So Hole's calling out that he'd prefer Dauntless over Horns or Tackle. Probably over Tackle.
He's weird,
Dauntless
though.
ain't bad.
I mean...
But if you
I
get
don't
the chance for
know.
Horns you would take over Dauntless. At least in my opinion.
Yes.
So, Battle Brothers versus We Chillin'. This is going to be a fun match. Both these teams are actually 1-0. Or no, sorry, We Chillin' drew. Never mind. Both these teams are coming up from lower divs and playoff coaches, so I'm really excited to see how the Bretts do against Dark Elves.
I need to look at Battle Brothers really quick.
Join you. They're the last team in the division, the freshest team.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
Look at that stank.
I feel like they're gonna
Look at
take
that
it.
stank ass peasant with 2 strength doing his job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No.
he needs to go. But
Strength busts are not a death sentence. Not when it's a
it's only
not when it's a peasant.
40K. You cheap asshole! It's 40K.
Just think of the magnet. Think of the threat. You just know your opponent is going to blitz that guy.
Oh,
Anytime
boy.
you blitz a peasant, you are playing right into the Bretonnian playbook. Missing next game on the. It's not the Agi4. It's a Agi4 Nerves of Steel.
Right,
blitzer.
right.
That's going to be a noticeable miss.
They all get
but he
plus
is
Agi.
leveled up, so I'm curious what level he takes. What do you take on that guy?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you probably want guard or mighty blow, but
no, they start with catch.
I
Well, he's got Nerves of Steel, which I like.
would give him guard if it's a double, and if it's not a double, I would take. Does he have sidestep? He doesn't have sidestep. That's what you take. You take sidestep.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's just look at that. They start with so much cool stuff that it's hard to tell what you give him. Really, I mean, he's already got so much stuff. That's great.
Agi4 makes that player so
yeah,
good.
probably
Without
sidestep,
Agi4,
yeah.
that player is nothing special. But with Agi4, it's actually really nice.
Yeah, I like the Nerves of Steel. I think it's a unique pick.
It's not even a double.
That's good. And it synergizes great with the player and his job. That's awesome. So yeah, I want to say Battle Brothers got this week.
All right, I'll let you.
I'm into it.
I'll agree with you. Frozen Dead North versus Scooby and the Gang. Hey, guess what? We've got a Necro Mirror.
Oh boy, that's so fun! Yay!
There's a lovely poem I wrote in REL chat the other day. I think it was yesterday. Mirror on the wall. Who's the necroist of them all? Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
It was about your team, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we were gonna go play, and then I swooned.
Okay.
After your almost Walt Whitman-ish. I don't want to say limerick.
We'll go limerick. We'll go limerick. That's.
Yeah.
Who do you like? Do you like Travel Scrabble? You like D Sharp? You like?
God, I want to like Travel Scrabble, but he makes it so hard.
That's a fair statement. I'm gonna go with the one who has the most mighty blow on their claw. So.
I think on paper, Travel Scrabble should win it. But I have zero faith that he will. So I'm gonna go with the 1-1 tie.
Mighty blow claw, and then we've got no mighty blow, but 2 agi ups and 1 strength up. I think Travel Scrabble should win. I think D Sharp will win.
That's fair. All right. 1-1 tie.
We've got Rebellious Scions versus Murder's Row. So Murder's Row getting back-to-back elves. Traditionally, in the past, this Necro team has not done the best against elves. Back in the old Dances with Wolves and Elves era, they were around for that. But they did a huge win last week. Some might even call it a dicing. In fact, I think Doc M even said so himself. So can he repeat against the Rebellious Scions?
Scallions.
They are Scallions.
No, I don't think so. And you know why? Because wizards.
Okay. I'm going to say that this one smells drawish. I haven't called a draw yet today. I'm going to say this one one smells a little dry.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the delicious scallions and the power of the
There you
wizard.
go. Fallen Wonders versus Rats Off to you.
Yeah, rats off to you.
I'm gonna take Fallen. I'm gonna take Fall and his Amazons. Want to see him win.
He should win, but if he plays like he played last week, there's no way.
Okay, you watched him,
And
so you're probably right. I don't care. I'm sticking with it.
I watched the whole thing, and he's got all the tools to win. He just needs to
All
learn
right,
to
I'm
use
sticking
them.
with it. Can we do it? Yes, we can.
All right.
Versus Lords of Decay in the marathon match. Who
What do you
moves
think?
slower, a Khemri Tomb Guardian or Kallisti playing the game?
Kallisti. Yeah.
Let's go with.
One of these days,
I just think he's gonna go post
Huh?
one of these days.
he's gonna win, and he's gonna rub it in our stupid fucking
I don't
faces
care if he wins.
someday.
He won a lot last season. Still didn't make playoffs. Let's go with. I actually think Skaven should just naturally win these games, so I'm gonna go with Kallisti.
He should, but I think McMackey is gonna take him to the cleaners. You're right, D Sharp. He did play in 1 minute, and I played against him, and he ran out of time when we played and turned over.
So I've played with him. For those of you that don't know,
He
in
was-
the Nats league, the other league I covered, which became the BPN. Anyway, long story short, it's a 3-minute league. He was perfectly fine playing 3-minute turns, and then as soon as he came over to the Rebel and started playing in a 4-minute turn environment, he got slower. I know he did. He just flat out got slower. And then when I played him again in the BBPN, which he then eventually left, but when I played him again in the BBPN, he was running out of time. He really was. He got used to the 4-minute turns. And then he just dropped the league entirely. And I think it's partially because of the 3-minute turn times. He'll never admit it, but I think it was part of it. Anyway, let's move on to Fear and Bloating versus Culinary Delights version 2. Can the Chaos keep their streak alive against a Nurgle team?
I think so, but I think it's going to be a costly win.
I will say that he's going to be down 230 TV to the Nurgle. That change your opinion?
I think he can still win.
I'm going to take the 230
I think it's just going to really hurt.
of extra skills on the Nurgle over that Chaos team any day of the week. Generally, I think Nurgle at this TV are already favored because you get extra things like foul appearance. And I just think that, yeah, I think that rooster crowed already, and it's time to settle down there, simmer down there, little rooster.
This is colorful language.
Finally, we have the other Nurgle team taking on the Fell with Code at All in their dampened state of mind. Let me just say this, and I'm going to make a plea and a case here for the elves. They don't need a palm elf to beat Nurgle. They have the one-turner. They have the 2+ long pass thrower. I think they have the tools that they need. I don't know if they're going to be getting a wizard or not, but if they are getting a wizard, for sure they've got a good chance and they'll probably win it. What do you think?
I mean, I want him to win it, but I don't know. I think with this whole, I'm going to have a bunch of loners, and I'm going to have a wizard and some inducements. It still has the potential to steamroll horribly against the elves, and they'll lose too many players for it to matter.
If ever there was a team that would need and benefit from having just disposable loners, it's this team. I just don't know. What happens a lot of times is when you get players that are this unique and interesting, they become crutches. And, not having that palm elf, he's had it for a season now. How does he play without Mighty Blow? How do you play that game where you just are trying to get that gap, and you had an elf that could always get you a gap, and now you don't have that tool? Plus, he no longer has the marking blitzer, which is really useful on his defensive drives. So, he's gonna be missing key tools from his utility belt And I'm curious to see if he's able to make it work.
We still got Strength 5 guy, though. Right? Strength 5 guy can poke a hole.
Khaleesi
In any
defending
team.
his reputation. Apparently he dropped because of the VGP drama. Even though he wasn't
I don't know what that
playing
means.
in the season where the VGP drama happened. Just saying.
Was that very good?
VGP is
No, I got nothing.
It was the guy's name. What was his name? VG Purist, I think was his name. Anyway, he had a little bit of a meltdown.
Anyway.
But yeah, so I don't know. So are you back in the Nurgle then?
I am. Yep, going Nurgle
Right.
this week. Feels
You
good.
do that.
Feels
Very
good.
That is going to do it for Div 2. Let's go ahead and move on to the Div 1.
The best. Wait, no, that was 3. Never mind.
Div 1. Necro and Elves. Tooth and Fist versus Elements of Style. Guess what? Necro and Elves. Tell us about your game against the champion.
So we both were in voice. We're streaming, which didn't really work out that great, but we could hear each other, so it was fine. The rest of you, whatever. And he got a wizard, and basically everything worked beautifully until it didn't. So, for example, he wizarded, popped the ball, jumped into my cage, picked up the ball, jumped out, double ones. He leaped into my other cage, popped the ball on a 1 die, dodged it on a 4, picked it up on a 4, dodged out on a 3, and then double wand. And that was pretty much how the whole game went. Was I can roll 4, I can't roll a 2+ when I only needed a 2. Set me up for some pretty great surfs, so I managed to kill Chlorine, which was
right.
the AV6 one. So that's a new zombie that hasn't done shit so far. And yeah, I mean, came out of it. His one score was just a 1 turn. He just 1 turned it in on like turn 9.
That explains
I think.
the 0% possession.
Yep. And then handed me the ball immediately back, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just grind you down the pitch. So I think by the end of it, he did not have many players left. They were mostly KO'd, and he was a very nice guy though. Didn't tilt even a little bit. Didn't even care. Like, whatever. Last season with this team.
You would hardly know he's Canadian. He's such a nice guy.
Yes.
Grungy Desserts versus the Grody Greens. The G
Called it.
G word Nurgle. Mirror matchup. You backed the Grody Greens, and yes, you were correct. Atticus was obliterated. 17 armor breaks to 3 on 25 blocks to 20. That's so one-sided. That might even be the most one-sided match of the week. And a mirror. I think it was turn 1 that the beast got killed.
I didn't catch the beginning, and I caught kind of the middle. And I talked with Laz before the game, and he already had a strategy down for his targets. So, I did see the guy made this really, really big mistake where I think he pushed someone the wrong way or something like that, and he had 2 dice on the ball, but he couldn't take it because he blocked himself in. And it was like turn 5 or 6 or something.
Those mistakes do happen.
And that was huge mistake, because that could have stopped the drive, and he didn't.
Yep. Finally, we had Gloom and Zoom versus. Well, not finally. Next, we had Gloom and Zoom versus Pantheon Bastards. This was the big upset. Everybody's still talking about this game that happened earlier.
I called it, man. I told you this was going to happen.
Pantheon Passers. T-Self with the big upset. Well, we know Gloom and Zoom do have that weakness to elves. 24 armor breaks, and he still didn't get the job done. But that's a lot of KOs.
Did you see the best part?
A lot of KOs, so probably more KOs than we saw.
So, I don't remember what turn it was. It was kind of later. Like, T-Self had already scored. So what he does is he gets this guy, and he does a 5+ dodge into the cage against a blodge player without. He doesn't have tackle, and he double red die pows. But then he fails the leap to pick the ball up, and it was like a 2+ leap. I was like, "You're amazing." Such a good game.
That would be elf dice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a big shakeup and upset. We had Live Tree or Die Hard taking on High Fivers, and the Necro win. So again, Necro beating Elves. This is the whole week of Necro beating Elves. I am shocked. My core.
Not the one we just looked
Well,
at.
you did, and this one did, and then the one in the previous div, in Div 3 too. So
yeah, but the other guy
everyone
didn't.
but Lumenzoom. It was the opposite of Fiction Magic. So basically, Pro Elves are, I guess, the exception.
Did you watch this one?
Not.
I didn't either. We're terrible at this. I am surprised, though. I thought Duberman had it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, usually it's early on when he gets his win, so maybe this will be the season where he bucks the trend, finds his way in the playoffs. He's been in the playoffs before. Drakar's Dominators versus Thick, Rich, and Creamy, and Drakar's Dominators have traveled well.
Oh. I did see this one. Did you watch this one?
Yes. This one felt a little bit like Jimmy was playing for the memes and less for the,
Yes.
play, the right play.
He threw that wolf out there, that Paris Stilton, like, hit my wolf here. It's cool,
and he's
man.
like, oh no, you guys always harp about that one thing. No. He does that. Like, that's a staple of the Thick, Rich, and Creamy playbook.
It's only 120K. What the fuck do I care?
It's almost like, yeah, I messed up and I picked jump up, and now I just want this damn thing to die.
But big kill on Eric the Red. Strength bust.
Oh, Eric's dead?
Retired. He's retired, but yeah, he's gone, and I think everybody's really happy about it.
Disappointed. Eric
Except
the
you,
Red
I guess.
was, not at all essential in his victory against me in the playoffs, semifinals. Not at all important.
It's a big piece to lose game one.
Right. So dance on his grave.
That was the saving grace of Jimmy's game right
Yep.
there. Because the rest of the stuff was pretty much like, here's all my guys, hit him. Like he was doing a lot of basing that I felt was maybe a little weird. It was like, oh, your guy has Mighty Blow and piling on and tackle. I'm just going to base him.
I want you to fail the dice.
Really, dude?
I'm counting on you rolling a dub scroll. That's always the best strategy. I'm just going to make you roll so many extra dice that you have to fail against a team that has block on every player.
Yes.
Including the Yeti. New Year Norse get the biggest win of the week. 4-0 against Team Spirit Crew version 4. Slobber knockers have been had, but how do you summarize this game?
Well,
I mean, I can do it for you.
He just really pucked it up, He
he
had the thing. He was gonna do it, and then he just kind of pucked himself in the A, And every time he got a shot, he just pucked it up.
Let me put it this way.
And then
So I did have a point about this, because this game happened before our last precap. But the point about this game is there are certain teams that cannot get behind. They just cannot. If you get behind with that team, you are in a terrible position, and your options are very, very limited. And so you feel like you can't do anything about it. This team, the New Year Norse especially, but Ornan's Norse team, thrives upon putting people on the back foot and just pushing forward. So you would constantly see puck stop just, make a positioning, like reposition on the pitch, but trade blocks for it. And then Ornan immediately takes those blocks, gets removals, and kind of snowballs from there. There were 2 injuries against Chorfs that one of them I think was like a failed GFI that really decided this game because they were early in the game and they were only badly hurts. And I feel like Puckstop could have played to win this game had he appoed one of those early on.
No, I agree.
So
you can't get out advantaged man-wise.
Yeah, exactly.
That early in the game or it's over. So. And I'm a firm believer in only Appo badly hurts.
I mean,
like, you saw it with Eisenmike's
I'm no
match.
pixel hugger.
Turn
there are
one,
players that are worth Appoing.
I mean, the guy rolled dead into dead. Turn one, Apo's already gone, and then it just steamrolled from there. Like, no, Apo badly hurt because you know it's coming back.
Yeah. Or if you've
Not
got
that
a
I
natural
know.
one turner or a mighty blue werewolf.
I play regen.
Yeah,
I need
that's
the
true.
handicap, so I don't know.
Werewolves are always regen teams. Okay. Anyway, that was my thought on that game. Finally, we had not an anime sports team versus The Secret of My Success, and wouldn't you know it, Rusty Seabutter steals a draw from not an anime sports team.
Didn't see
either. I don't know that it was broadcast, but I will say that this one surprises everyone because of the long-standing reputation that Rusty Seabutter has of struggling against elves. I think some factors involved in that: 100% wake up on KO, 100% pickup rate, and orcs that succeeded 92% of their GFIs.
Is that not normal?
Dodging at 75% success rate is really good for orcs. So I'm not saying that he diced Arch, but I am saying that he got some good dice. That's what I'm saying. I think this dice log right here confirms that statement is true.
I got to look at these rolls here for The Secret of My Success.
Oh, that's right, Miss Stace. You're absolutely right. Arch's opinion of the match was that he rolled a vanity pass, a greedy vanity pass to try and level up a Lino, and it failed. And from that point, he was never able to recover. He was able to pick it up fine, but it looks like the orcs were able to get on top of the ball.
Oh yeah, look at that. 12 go for it's. 1 failed. So 13
That's
total.
a lot of go for it's and not a lot of failure.
That's funny. 6 dodges, 2 fails at 8 total. That's pretty good. It's pretty
team, that is phenomenal.
Pretty abnormal. But you should never put yourself into where you have to do that.
GFIs are like the snow is always present. So if you succeed more than 1 out of 3 GFIs, or more than 2 out of 3 GFIs as an orc, you are ahead of the curve. Yeah. So taking a look at the leaderboard and where we are at, surprised to see Arch so low. This is one of the
some of the week 2s.
That's right. That's why it's like that.
So it's a little skewed.
That's true. Gosh, Div 1 jumping on the ball like the old days.
So Ornan should really be at the top if we're not counting the week, week 2 stuff.
And Laz and T-Self and all that.
Right, and Gloom and Zoom should be at the very bottom.
Not quite there. All right, well, that's good to know for where we're at. Guess, was there any other prizes? I like the T-Self one is the big one for me. Ornan, I think a lot of people are picking him to win the div and go for the second win for his team. Yeah. So looking at teams, which 2 teams would you like to discuss? Well, you can pick one. Pick one.
I can pick one.
That sounds like The Secret of My Success.
Yeah, let's check them out. I'm curious to see because I don't think we really looked at them too in depth last time.
That's because there's not too much to look at. They've got 6 guard. They've got Solo Vexer, who's a vampire. At AV9. Blodge.
Stand firm.
Good piece.
That's
good
fun.
Piece.
Yeah.
And traditionally in the past he had a thrower, but he's got a lineman now that's doing that job just as fine. What else?
Why is there no troll?
I don't need a troll. He doesn't have a goblin. I mean, if you had a goblin, then sure.
No, but really, why is there no troll, really?
Because it's unreliable. I mean, when you're at 1800 TV, you don't need it. You really don't. Unless you're going to be up against claw teams every single week, and your troll is simply just line of scrimmage fodder, go on the line and maybe regen.
Well, you tie up 2 dudes with it, right? It's the same as a beast and Nurgle. You just stick them somewhere you want them, and you leave them there.
Yeah.
and then
Believe
he's
me,
annoying
I
and in
am
the way.
a strong advocate for
that's
the
it.
troll at lower TV, but I feel like this team has outgrown it. It's got block on all the players that need block. It's got guard on every single black orc. It it's in a position where
you're
it can get
kooky.
more out of a dirty player line orc than it can out of a troll.
Well, I will say this: if you have to keep playing games where you need to make 14 GFIs, you're gonna get pucked.
That does sound like a puck stop thing. What else can be said? They've got one main killer threat. He's probably rebuilding hot drops. I would like to see hot drops become a frenzy threat, even though he went tackle first.
Mm-hmm.
I think orcs with a frenzy threat are a lot more scary, because you can't just play the lineman against them or play the sideline against them.
We're a bit kind of not super elf heavy, but we've got some elfy teams. So the tackle is a good plan, actually, because most of the Necro have Blodge. We got the elf teams in there. The Norse teams have Blodge runners. I mean,
yeah, but wouldn't you rather...
the more
like
tackle,
next
the
level,
better.
he could get frenzy, but wouldn't you rather have frenzy jugs than tackle frenzy?
For sure, but I don't disagree with the tackle.
See, with the tackle first, that would make me think that he should get Mighty Blow next, and then frenzy as a fourth. But
I think he's got enough Mighty Blow.
yeah, I think
I think he's doing okay in the Mighty Blow department. I like where you're going, like frenzy, stand firm, right? Tackle, frenzy, jug, stand firm.
It's gonna take forever to level with the tackle instead of Mighty Blow.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Fair enough. All right, what's your other pick?
Feed him the ball, I guess. Did I pick that one?
Didn't pick
you
that
picked one. No, I didn't pick that one. Okay. Fuck, man. It's too much pressure. Let's look at the Dominators. Let's see where they're at now after losing that huge burly piece. He's got Snowballer left, who still is just a raging pain in the
Snowball,
ass.
incidentally, is favored in T-Self's poll for the best player in all of the league.
I can see why. The thing's a beast. Tackle and block. What a dick.
Yeah. Closing in on legend.
Some serious runners. Yeah. Close. Almost there. And Baleog the Fierce is pretty brutal, but the minus movement with jump up, it's not as bad as it could be. It's still kind of shitty though, because with frenzy, that you want high movement with frenzy.
Yeah. Where else can this team go from here? Ornan's playing around with the thrower. I don't like that, but it's Ornan. It's classic Ornan. I don't see D's picking up a thrower at any point. I also don't see him cycling the agi-busted Wolf Order.
No. Why? There's just no reason. That's a keeper.
I think the focus for all the development on this team is probably just going to be on the new Blitzer, Samson the Mighty.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get him as leveled as possible. Do you think he goes the same leveling route here? I would probably expect him to go Mighty Blow Tackle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting that this team is so slow. When I watched him play, I was like, he's kind of not making it very... Oh, all his dudes are strength or movement busted. Okay, yeah.
The real question is how many GFIs is he rolling with this team? Because that'll tell me everything I need to know. 7 GFIs, only 7. That's really not bad. I think he's getting by just fine considering the amount of movement busts he has.
No,
if you start getting into double-digit GFIs in a game, that's a good indication that your positioning needs improvement.
And do you think people really want to base any of this stuff? I mean...
Probably not. I mean, my orcs certainly did, but that's didn't always work. So.
Yeah. Did not blitz with Snowball as much as I thought he would.
No, I think if you... that is a definite Norse trap, is if you are regularly blitzing with your wild animal, because you want to move him around too much. I feel like that's another positioning weakness. If anything, Deez has kind of shown that he's really good at positioning. So,
yeah, didn't rely on him to clear a path or get removals or any of that. Didn't need to.
And that's one of my favorite points about the Yeti is that the Norse team have so much frenzy that they can actually push people into the Yeti and then set up blocks that way. They don't have to use the Yeti to blitz. And that's, to me, the best use of the big guy on this team.
Yep. Yeah, it was surprising and nice.
So that's it for those two teams. Let's take a look at the next upcoming week, which is already halfway played. Talk about those games next week. One of which happened today and was pretty disgusting, as I alluded to earlier.
I don't want to talk about my game next week.
So we've got the New Year Norse taking on the Elements of Style. Ornan, champ on champ action. Ornan is probably favored here.
I think so.
You think Mistays has some magic left over?
I think he does, but it's just an uphill battle from here, especially after losing that War Dancer game 1. It's just going to get worse. Because there are a lot of teams in this div that are built way killier than mine is. So it's just going to be brutal.
Yeah.
Lithium is going to be really the one that keeps the game alive.
He needs some dice to start helping him out in terms of reducing attrition. Like, he needs to be able to take anywhere from 25 to 30 blocks and only suffer 1 perm. If he suffers more than 1 perm for every 30 blocks, he's probably just going to spiral out.
Yep.
Not an anime sports team versus Drakar's Dominators. I am excited for this one. The Duke needs a win.
Got to go with Arch on this one. I think he's got it. Especially losing Eric the Red. He's just got to stay away from Snowballa. Like, do something to keep that guy busy. And he's also, one of the other things too is Drakar's lost a bunch of SPP with that miss next game, a bunch of team value with that Ulfwarner being out. So that could kind of tilt it his way a little bit because he's given up like, what, almost 400k?
Yeah, I actually kind of want to back the Drakar's Dominators here, not because of that. I mean, Ulfwarners actually do play a role against the Elves in the sense that they lock down stuff. But the reason why is because the Drakar's Dominators have an extensive history against Elves in the Big O, and they've handled it quite well. They've got the removal game. They know how to play the removal game, but they also know how to put a lot of pressure on teams. I like Arch. I think Arch is a very, very strong coach. Put him in the same bracket as myself, but I think, I mean, Drakar's beat me, so by that logic, Drakars are going to get the win here too.
One thing to note too is if Arch can remove Holfar the Sweaty, that's all the sure hands, and then that's kind of it.
Strip balls in play
at that point.
The secret of Midas' success versus Live Cheer Die Hard. Can Orcs not lose to Elves 2 weeks in a row?
No.
I agree. I think Huberman is going to be able to.
I'm going to say no.
Bounce back and take the win this week. Pantheon Passers versus the Grody Greens. Can T-Self upset a former REL 1 coach back-to-back weeks?
It's actually a pretty tough call on that one. It's all going to be how many players can the Beast lock up and keep that.
I have the benefit of recalling very clearly what happened when Hipster played the Grody Greens. And it was a less than... Well, even when Sol did it too, it was a less than flattering game for the Elves. And it was really nothing removal-wise. It was simply just the disturbing presence, the foul appearance, the strength advantage, and the fact that there's a little bit of meat cube action that goes on in the Grody Greens. That basically says, if you want to get this ball, come and take it. And you only get one shot with the Wizard. And we had a God Fireball last week against Fiction. If he goes for the Fireball again against the Grody Greens and their meat cube, protecting the ball, I don't think he's going to be able to recover it. And I don't think it's going to go as well as the Fireball did last week. So on this one, I'm going to back with the Grody Greens.
One thing about that Fireball is he didn't have to deal with disturbing presence.
Correct.
And Laz is no stranger to elves. He's playing high elves in our clan and doing quite well so far. And he's played against elves for years and years. So it's not a Achilles heel for him to play against a team like that.
If T-Self was wise,
think he knows
would
them.
look at that match that occurred early last season against Hipster. I'm sure it's still out there somewhere. I know it was streamed. And maybe it's not because most people don't save their VODs anymore. But if you can get a hold of that just to see, because one of the things that the Grody Greens did is they were extremely clumped up and bunched together on offense when they had the ball. But then on defense, when the Hipster was trying to stall the game out, he was completely spread all over the map. It looked like a checkerboard where there was a NERBL piece, 3 squares over and 3 squares over and 3 squares over. And so no matter where the elves went, and yeah, they were down numbers at that point, but wherever they went, they were in at least 1, sometimes 2, even 3 disturbing presence. And then the tentacles was just following them around every time they dodge out, go somewhere else. So there will be opportunities for the Pantheon Bastards to get the win, but I am still backing Laz in this one.
The only way is if T-Self can go up 2-0 on the first half.
Yeah.
And then I think it's clinched.
I mean, that's the roadmap for sure.
If you can't do that, it's probably game over if that doesn't happen.
Awesome. Wow, we did it. We were early. This was a shorter episode.
Less to talk about.
Well,
this
and
time.
Some of these matches are already played and such, but yeah, I think we did.
People just ruin everything. Hey, really quick before we're done here, for Chapsu is looking for clan recappers. So if anybody wants to recap clan games, reach out to him. Just FYI. Off topic.
Go Chab. Do it. I don't want to do it.
I'm gonna do it.
You can do it too.
I'll do it.
Everybody
be fun.
can recap clan. I want nothing to do.
Okay.
All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and call it here. Thanks everybody for checking it out. I will be quicker about getting this one up to YouTube. I know a lot of people were stuck looking for it last week, so we will go ahead and do that. My Kislev match, is still not yet scheduled, but yeah, we will try and get it scheduled as soon as possible. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Friday, I guess. Still waiting to hear back from my opponent, but looking forward to getting my Kislev action on. Anyway,
you gonna change the name this time?
Exactly.
So it's not Deadly Nightshade anymore.
It's no longer Deadly Nightshade. For Jumpnick, thanks for the follow. You will definitely want to check out my Kislev games. But yep, that'll be it. Oh, I don't even know if I'm streaming it. God, I keep saying I'm not streaming it, and then I get suckered into streaming it. So maybe I will.
That was a good stream last time.
Everybody had a fun time watching me cry while winning 3-0.
Yeah, life is so hard.
I was getting pitch cleared. It was not fair.
You were fine. Come on. It's fine.
Anyway, all right. Adios. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.